This is not your mother's Mahabharata. Beware. It's fucking epic. Hosted by SP Jayaraj.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Not Your Mother's Mahabharata. I am your storyteller, Satish and Azure, and with me as always is my wife, Azure Anderson.
Well, hello there, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Today is a special day because we do not have a guest today.
We're alone.
It's just going to be the two
Send
of us.
help.
So we're going to see how we can do this story without a mediator.
Yeah. Absolutely. Somebody keeping us in check or keeping me in check.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
It helps keep me in check as well with questions on the podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll actually be going through some history with this one.
Oh.
So it'll be an interesting one.
Okay.
Another fun thing about today's episode is that Magic Mind reached out to us. They do shots and they do gummies. Mm-hmm. And they sent us some samples of the stuff. They sent us some samples of the gummies. So we have been taking them.
Yeah.
And I've been really enjoying it.
Me too.
It's been very good. I've definitely been able to... The promise of it is that it helps you focus. It helps you have a calm mind. And that has definitely been happening. I feel I've been much more productive. And I've definitely been calmer.
Yeah.
Some days, sometimes you do things and then everything goes to shit. You have a bunch of tasks and someone cancels a meeting, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to record something and the technology fucks up on you.
Yep.
And I've had...
there, buddy.
Yeah. And I've definitely had days like that in the past, and it just ruins everything. Mm-hmm. I've had a day like that recently, and I was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And that, to me, was like a strong indicator, this is nice.
He was downright pleasant.
I was downright pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, unlike any other day.
But... No, and I've been taking them too, and I've been much less irritable.
Yeah.
If you can believe it, listeners, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree. It's been has a nice calming factor. The gummies don't have any caffeine, so you can caffeinate or not caffeinate however you want. So that it's nice. It doesn't have a stimulant like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been enjoying them. Yeah,
it's safe for kids. I guess the main thing is that it has these things called adaptogens in it, which helps, and so it's actually kind of gets better the more you take it.
Yeah.
So, and that's something the first time I took them, I'm I'm feeling something, but then it did get better. So I was pretty excited for that. And
I'm looking forward to see what happens in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. As it kind of gets
we take
even
it
more.
longer. Yeah. So.
But definitely this is the first time we've actually had someone reach out to us.
Yeah.
And I'm, very, very proud to kind of be part of this and to host things. So listeners, we really do enjoy it. Highly recommend it. So if you get it through the podcast and be as a sponsor, you can actually get it for 25% off the gummies. For that, the code, if you just go to magicmind.com/notyourgm, GM for gummies. So magicmind.com/NOTYOURGM. You can also just use the codes NYM directly from the website.
Yep.
As well to get 25% off. And again, we do truly highly recommend this as just a really good and product that delivers on its promise.
Absolutely. And we'll put all this in the show notes so you can find the link really easily and give it a shot. Try it yourself. I think you'll like it.
Mm-hmm. It is usually $75, and then with the discount code, it will be $56.25.
Oh, there you go. And it is a 30-day serving, so it's a really, really big bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a heavy bag.
I was surprised when it came. It's a very big bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so on that note, we're all gummied up.
Yep.
And ready to get into...
Focused.
Yes. Time to get into another episode of Not Your Mother's Mahabharata. And so, do you recall where we were last time?
This is where we need a guest. Something with brother husbands. He'd come back. Nope, that happened already. There was a big forest thing. Then that happened. Who did we have last?
So, we had Mahala last time.
Okay.
And we talked about the graphic battle of Jarasandha dying twice.
Oh! The stitches.
Yeah.
The stitches.
Split
so
up.
the epic battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was split down the middle.
Yeah.
Put back together.
Two babies
split
born,
up again.
sewed together by a demon. Cared for, loved.
Yeah.
By a demon. Then turned into Jarasandha.
Jarasandha, yeah.
And then,
And he
Who ripped him apart?
Beam.
Beam
Ripped him apart. And the reason this had to happen was because we've got our 5 brothers, the Pandavas.
Yeah.
And Yudhishthira, the oldest, has taken on the responsibility of doing something called the Rajasuya, which means that he is going to do a big ceremony that will proclaim him emperor.
Right, that's right.
And one of the reasons they had to do away with Jarasandha was because Jarasandha was also moving towards that and had captured 85 kings.
That's right.
And so now that they did away with him, they've got the tribute of those 85 kings. So now that the big villain is gone, they got to move on to the next step to get this whole Rajasuya going.
Okay.
All right?
So they're in like the planning stages.
Not
planning yet.
There's still some other actions to be done.
They're still recruiting?
Yes.
Okay, they're still like recruiting supporters?
Yes.
Basically? Okay.
So, where we're at right now, if we remember our good old friend Vyasa.
Yes.
Who has come back to be part of this whole thing.
It's like the Loki guy, right? Loki
no,
kind of character?
Vyasa is the one who tells the Mahabharata. So the big grandfather fellow.
Yes.
And so he kind of keeps popping in and out and with instructions.
Okay.
So he comes to our 5 brothers, the Pandavas. He comes to Yudhishthira, the oldest, and says, for our next step, the first thing we need to do is get tribute throughout the land.
Okay.
So, each of the 4 younger Pandava brothers go in different directions to secure tribute.
Okay.
The versions that I've found are different. The children's stories vary differently from the adult stories.
Oh.
And this is, I think, a thing where it definitely depends on your feelings towards the Pandavas and whether they're noble or not, violent or not violent.
Okay.
So, but basically, first we'll look at like Arjuna. Right? So Arjuna, the greatest archer, probably the greatest warrior of all 5 of the Pandavas. So Arjuna goes north. Essentially, for each of these 4 brothers, they go and with their armies and they meet up with different kings and they get their sponsorship, let's say, either by deals, by like promising that Yudhishthira will be there for them, or by battle and war.
Okay.
Now, they all went with armies, so I'm assuming there's going to be battle and war
most likely.
each case.
Yeah.
And the books that I have, like, I really tried to find more information, and I found, like, an online resource, and that was just, like, they did this, they did this, they did this, they did this, so I didn't want to bring all of that into the podcast, but basically they're going out and, as I said, making deals, pillaging, getting tributes, and by some accounts, they are getting rid of all the evil societies. By some accounts, it's just they don't mention what the other societies are like or the kings are like.
Okay.
But
so
they're
just making decisions and they're just taking over everything.
That
basically.
Is the idea is that they're
are they British Empiring?
Maybe
a little bit.
Maybe again, like it really varies on the accounts. And by some accounts, it's just that they're bringing back tribute. By the most noble one, they're going, and then that tribute signifies, and inviting them as well to this big grand ceremony.
Okay.
So I believe in the original text, it's probably much longer. Like I said, tried to find that from the books that I have, and even online stuff. And in the end, I'm like, this is it's like 100 other names that I don't have right now.
So it was more of a list of, it was more like a list of accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got some of the highlights.
Okay.
So we'll go through some of the highlights of some of the people that each of the brothers do see. And there's one that's like specifically cool. So we'll start off with Arjuna. Arjuna goes north. So the first person that Arjuna comes across is a king known as Salva or Shalva.
Shalva.
Yeah. Salva is someone we have known way, way, way back in one of the early episodes.
Okay.
He was the one we have Arjuna's grandfather, great-grandfather, Bhishma, who started this nation. Bhishma. And what Bhishma did back then was he went to a Swayamvara, so where there were 3 princesses, and swooped them all up to bring back for his 2 nephews.
Right.
And 2 of them were very happy about it. One of them, Amba, apparently, after being shell-shocked, mentioned that actually she was all set to marry this guy, Salva.
Yeah.
So they allowed her to go back.
That's who Salva is. Got it. Okay.
So they allowed her to go back, but then Salva didn't want her anymore because he felt embarrassed.
Oh, Salva.
And then there was a battle which he was humiliated in that context as well.
Yeah.
And so, but he still resents the Pandavas for that. And this entire empire.
Sure.
So he goes to battle with Arjuna. He doesn't last.
No, of course not.
No.
Why would he?
That it specifically mentioned that this battle almost didn't happen. He beat him pretty easily. Arjuna did.
Sorry, buddy.
And then, after that, then Arjuna goes to the son of Naraka. So again, there's another throwback to another earlier episode where Naraka was the son of the earth.
Okay, yeah.
But was evil. Was atrociously evil. And the Pandavas' cousin, Krishna, fought him. And actually it was Krishna's wife, technically. But they did away with him.
Was this the guy that he stepped on? And moved and pushed down into the...
No, because that guy wasn't evil. This was the guy who had...
I'm doing great.
This is why this is a good episode. Yeah. No, this was the dude who had all those slave women.
Oh, God, that's right.
And slave women from, every realm.
Yeah.
And once Krishna defeated him, then all those women tried to go back to their homes and their husbands and their fathers, but were rejected.
Yeah.
And so Krishna, being also known as God on Earth, Krishna married all of them.
Hell yeah, he did.
Yep, and he's a dude who's so powerful he can replicate himself.
And he created his whole community.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Of Krishna with all these ladies from different realms. Yeah.
They all live in one apartment block.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very, very happy.
These are the ones. There's a swimming pool. There's a tennis court.
Exactly.
And they're all just living their best lives.
Yeah.
There's somebody painting off in the corner.
With all different types of Krishnas.
Yes.
All the perfect husbands to each of
Absolutely.
these. So.
One of them's grilling. It's got a little kiss the cook.
Yeah.
Apron on and.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every Krishna
grilling
version you can imagine.
Of course.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind technically. So that guy's Naraka's son, Bhagadatta.
Okay.
And so there's a great big epic battle between them and that's an actual battle.
Okay.
That lasts at least 8 days.
Wow.
And then, Arjuna's, of course, now he's got all his celestial weapons and things like that, and so...
But how'd that guy last so long?
He was the son of that really powerful demon, too, so he's got some of that inheritedness.
He's got some pull.
Yeah.
All right. I see.
And so, but that battle ends, and Bhagadatta bows down to Arjuna and says, yep, here's some tribute, here's some gold and jewels and things like that. And I think he does say that he will be there. Cool. He will come to the Rajasuya as well. Then there are these guys called the Trigartas, and I don't get much about them except they are powerful warriors.
Okay.
And they've kind of got, from what I've seen, this almost nemesis, the challenge for Arjuna. And so this is a big battle that happens, and again Arjuna wins. And they, as a result of this, they throw their support later in the story to the Pandavas' rival cousins.
Oh.
Duryhodana and the rest of the Kauravas.
Because they're butthurt that they lost.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Yeah, so that's kind of what is happening throughout
Okay.
all of these four brothers' journeys.
Okay.
They're making people who are allies, they're making people who say they're allies, but they're also pushing people towards
Mm-hmm.
Duryhodana. No,
Mm-hmm.
because they know now, because now that Jarasandha was killed, Jarasandha was the only one who could stand up to the Pandavas.
Okay.
Right? So, but now that he's gone, that's kind of half the reason why they're so successful now. That's why he did have to die first.
Mm. Sure.
Because he was just such a powerful ally who'd given Krishna a lot of heat, and Krishna being with the Pandavas. So that was one of the essential. So that was why all that is happening.
Okay. Sounds like people are, I mean, it sounds like as they're going and, battling and meeting with all these different people groups that, everyone's showing their true colors. If they want to follow them, the Pandavas, or they want to follow
Yeah.
the cousins,
Yeah, the Kauravas.
Kauravas.
The cousins, yeah. So, but again, some of this is very amicable. Some of this is like, oh yeah, we've heard about Yudhishthira, what he's done, and we accept him as emperor. Here's golden jewels.
Great.
And horses and elephants and
Great.
all sorts of things like that.
Did they bring a lot of empty suitcases with them? Did they know that they were going to need to bring a bunch of stuff back?
He's gone with his armies.
Sure.
So yes, they brought a ton of empty suitcases to store all the things.
You always got to bring an extra empty suitcase for all the gifts. That's what I've learned.
Mm-hmm. Then we'll move on to Beam.
So that was all in the north.
So that was all of the north.
So those were all the cold weathered. I'm just imagining like big burly guys with big shoulders and like fluffy coats and stuff.
It is, what, that is an important distinction though, because when when Krishna battled Naraka, son of the earth father, demon person, like he flew there. He had his special I think it was a special, either it was on a Vimana, so a flying chariot, or I think on a flying creature of some sort as well.
Okay.
Arjuna went there with his armies through the cold, so suffered through that, and definitely marched through it. And yes, it is significant that they had a lot more difficulty.
Sure.
And that, I think, in itself is what helped win over some.
Sure. You made it all this way. Mm-hmm. You got here.
Yeah, with your armies.
With your armies. All right, cool. We'll give you some gold.
Yeah.
We'll give you some support.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So then we'll move on to Beam. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Arjuna also does go to Mount Meru, which is the abode of Shiva. And I don't think he meets Shiva necessarily, but he does while he's there. He's kind of visited these places when he did his journeys in the past.
Yeah.
His religious journeys, and he does like these kind of areas of silence, and even though he is a fantastic warrior, he does like all of this more peaceful things as well.
Okay.
So he does make the time to go there and get blessings as well from the gods.
Sure. Well, I mean, might as well while you're there.
Absolutely.
Anything helps.
Anything's gonna help for this. So he goes back, and then during this, Beam does his journeys. One of the persons who Beam is going to meet is Shishupala.
Shishupala.
Now, Shishupala is another one with a heavy grudge against Krishna. Shishupala. So this was we talked about Krishna's 108 wives.
Yes.
Krishna has another wife, Rukmini, and Rukmini, kind of like how Bhishma did back in the day. Rukmini had a Swayamvara. She was about to get married, and Krishna jumps in and captures her. And she was, I think, in on it, happy about it, went with him. And
we're like a swoop emperor. What is it? Swayamvara?
Swayamvara.
Swayamvara. Swoop emperor. I'm just going to swoop in.
Swoop in.
Keeps doing that.
Yeah. So Shishupala doesn't like Krishna for that reason. And so Beam is expecting a lot of war at this one.
Pushback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shishupala has also... He joined with Jarasandha, our king from the last one, mighty king, who tried to attack Krishna's kingdom many times over. He was on that as well.
Okay.
So, but Krishna always spared him, because he is a blood relative.
Okay. Do you think on the journey up, Beam is just talking to his guys and going all right, this is gonna suck. How are we gonna get through to this guy?
Beam's also...
He's not much, or is he? He's not much of a thinker. He's more of like the big
Beam's,
burly guy, right?
Beam's ready for war. He's the strongest of the Pandava. He's
Right,
the son of the wind.
So he's just ready to fight.
He was just ready to fight.
Okay. There's no need to talk.
I think he would be ready if if those fell through.
Okay.
Oddly enough, Shishupala is cordial.
Oh, he's like, oh, hey, bro, what's up?
Yeah. He gives his support.
Okay.
And says that he will be there.
Okay.
At the Swayamvara.
Are we suspicious?
Yes, we should be.
Good.
We should be.
Don't be suspicious. Or be suspicious.
He also goes and sees Jarasandha's son.
Okay.
And at that point, Jarasandha's son Sahadeva also is cordial. And
he's towing the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gives the tribute. Maybe understands that his dad wasn't the best guy for keeping 85 kings trapped.
Yeah. Hindsight.
Yeah. So those were like two of Beam's, but then also again, like there's so many other kingdoms, and so there was definitely some more violent ones. So that was Beam going back.
Okay. Those are two big ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
Which way did he go?
He went east.
He went east? Okay.
Yeah, he went east.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I got it. Yes. Then we'll deal with Nakula. Okay, so Nakula and Sahadeva are the youngest of the brothers.
Yes.
And the twins.
Yes.
Nakula goes west. And he...
puts on his cowboy hat and...
Yep, absolutely.
Hops on a horse.
Mm-hmm. Also has a bunch of wars and things like that.
Sure.
And then he also goes to Krishna's home, Dwaraka. And of course, there's no tension there.
Yeah.
We'll just come back with you.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, no problem with that one.
Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then the other youngest brother, because they're twins, Sahadeva, he goes south.
They split up?
Yeah, they split up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did they ever split up? I've only heard of them together.
And I think like that's where it would be cool to learn more. Like I was kind of looking forward to seeing who they are, because so far in this tale, you're right, like they're always together.
Yeah, I've always just pictured them together, like never apart.
We haven't seen too many stories of what they achieve as individuals.
Huh. Except for this, they're doing this independently.
Yeah, and again, if it hadn't been that format of like who are all these hundreds of people, but I think in the original stories, the text, if such a thing exists with this oral storytelling tradition, they do have their own adventures with their own power and diplomacy and sword fighting skill. Kind of
that's very cool.
Has moments on its own, and it's a shame we won't get into too much of that for this. But what to do? So
it just makes us want to look deeper.
Yes.
And learn more.
Yeah.
And find more stories.
And I hope we will.
Yeah, I think we will.
So Sahadeva goes south, and he does get all the way down to the bottom. And
the bottom of the world?
To the bottom of Bharatavarsha.
Yeah.
So, India.
And he brought his flip-flops and his bathing suit and...
Probably, but that's
sunglasses.
That's not going to get him to the distant land of what is then called Lanka.
Ah. Lanka?
And, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. And I would love to hear Sri Lankan versions of this. I can let you know. And he wants to get over to Lanka. Because here's where it's kind of like, this is like the best throwback. Before all the Mahabharata was the Ramayana. Right? And we've kind of talked a little bit about that. But the main thing that happens in the Ramayana is you have the hero is Ram. Who is an earlier incarnation of Krishna. Ram's wife is kidnapped by Ravana.
Dramatic.
Ravana takes her to Lanka.
Okay.
And they build, with the help of the Vanaras, who are, basically monkey men, they build a bridge all the way to Lanka.
What?
And then they get their armies there, and then there's that big battle between Rama and Ravana.
How far is that? That's so cool.
It's a long, long, long bridge.
Is it like a big, long wooden bridge?
I don't
Like a
know
rope
exactly what it's
bridge?
made of.
I'm just imagining a giant rope bridge.
I think it's very solid.
And it swings. Oh, it's
Yeah.
solid?
It had to be super solid. It's
Oh.
like armies that are going over it. You know,
Yeah.
another powerful mythic army needs to go over it.
But if it's mythic, then a powerful giant army could still go over a giant swinging rope bridge.
You know what? For you, we'll do it that way.
Oh, thanks, babe.
For you, we'll imagine it.
Isn't it a cool visual, though? It's just a giant. They just keep tying the ropes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure any version of it is visual.
Otherwise, I want to know how they built this bridge.
Mm-hmm. We will cover that in our next podcast series.
Seriously?
When we do Not Your Mother's Ramayana.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it.
It's gonna be a while.
Oh, I can't wait.
Before we get to that one. We've got a lot to do still in Mahabharata.
All right. Don't let me forget. I want to know about this bridge, though.
Sure. Sahadeva gets there, and so he can't find. There's no way across, so he calls upon Ghatotkacha.
Okay.
Do you remember Ghatotkacha?
I remember the name.
Yeah.
But I don't remember why.
We covered Beam just now.
Yes.
Ghatotkacha is Beam's son. And he's Beam's son when Beam married the demon Hidimba?
Oh, yeah. They were married for like a year?
Yeah.
They were married for They went off into the forest for a year, had a lovely year, and then they had a kid, and I forgot all about that kid.
Yeah, Ghatotkacha was born, and Ghatotkacha grew very fast.
Yeah.
And the Pandavas, he had special powers. Mm-hmm. And
I forgot all about this kid. The Pandavas
all loved him, and like he actually really, really took to his uncle Yudhishthira. Mm-hmm. But they all cared for him and trained him, taught him the books, the Vedas.
My buddy.
And
buddy.
I think he did, if I remember correctly, he did some favor for them and then left. And he said, like, if you ever need me, just give me a call. Mm-hmm. Summon me. Mm-hmm. And so Sahadeva at this moment summons Ghatotkacha.
How did he summon him?
However we want.
With a conch shell.
Yeah, that's actually not too far off. I would be surprised if that's how he summoned him.
Like that?
Mm-hmm, exactly like that. So, Sahadeva asks him to go across, to fly across, because he can fly.
Yes.
And to speak to whoever the king is there, and to get tribute from him.
Cool.
And so Ghatotkacha goes, and he actually does see remnants of this bridge from who knows how many years ago.
Got it.
Right? Like,
Eons
it's
ago.
A different age. Mm-hmm. But he does, so he flies over. When he lands, other demons come, feeling he's a threat, but he's mightier than all of them. Mm-hmm. He's still also, like, I guess, the grandson of the wind.
Okay.
And so, but it doesn't go all violence. It's very peaceful. Then they see that he is also one of them. Like, they see that he is a demon. Because this is a land of all demons.
Sure.
Or Rakshasas.
Yeah.
To use the Indian term.
Yep.
And so they realize he's not there. He's there for peace. And he wishes to speak to the king. And so they bring him to him. And the really cool thing, the king is Vibhishana. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Vibhishana.
Vibhishana.
I'm not exactly sure.
Great.
This is the brother of Ravana, who was killed by Ram eons ago, and he is still the king.
What?
So there's something just mystical about this place, and it feels to me as I'm reading it that if this is almost like from the previous age is still kind of staying here in this.
Interesting. So time isn't really affecting this place.
Or it's differently, or because they're all demons, and I guess because they're more isolated and they kept to that isolation. Mm-hmm. So this was a place that, by my understanding, with Ravana being the king, and Ravana's always been someone who's demonic and evil. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Vibhishana, he is not. And Vibhishana actually, even back then, did not agree with what Ravana was doing.
Okay.
And joined up with Ram. And so he has kept the peace. And he has kept his nation going. There's, as mentioned in one text, like he doesn't have that mad ambition that Ravana does, but very happy with keeping his nation as it is. And so maybe that has something to do with the fact that this nation is still kind of what it was.
Sure.
So
it's just kind of calmly existed for thousands of years. And it's like all the same people, basically.
That's
like
my
everyone
interpretation.
just keeps aging and not dying.
That is my interpretation.
That's fascinating. So it's just, all right.
Certainly, at least
a land of forever.
King. Yeah. At least the king for sure seems that. And he's older. He's older.
Like he looks older.
He looks older.
Because we know he's older.
Yeah, he is older.
He's ancient.
But he does also look older.
But he's just slowly aging. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So Ghatotkacha and him talk, and they just Vibhisana welcomes Ghatotkacha and asks him to tell him what's going on, and so Ghatotkacha recounts a lot of the stories he knows. He tells them about the Pandavas, like his uncles, and he tells them about Krishna. And Vibhishana is definitely very curious about Krishna because there is this understanding knowledge that he is Rama reborn.
Got it.
So every time that Krishna comes into these tales, he pays a little bit more extra attention.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
for sure.
But yeah, he has everything. He hears about Yudhishthira and agrees to give him tribute. So gives him like a sack of jewels. And from this mythical ancient world, they are like the most valuable jewels.
I bet they're real pretty.
Yeah, unimaginably pretty.
Very sparkly.
Mm-hmm. Vibhisana takes him also to where one of the people who also served Ram was the monkey god Hanuman. Hanuman was very prominent in the Ramayana in that tale. And especially on Lanka, flying back and forth before the bridge was built. And so Vibhisana shows him the point where Hanuman left. And so Ghatotkacha kind of takes off from that as well. Cool. Hanuman is also...
Are there like footprints there?
Yeah, why not?
It's like a big indent of like when he squatted down and went...
By one account, I've read like the whole island shook.
Oh, of course.
When he like leapt off.
Yeah.
So, and Hanuman also is a god of the wind. So in a sense, he's Ghatotkacha's uncle.
Okay.
As well. So, yeah, so Ghatotkacha goes back, returns to Sahadeva, and presents him with the jewels, tells him that he will come also, that Vibhisana will come for the Rajasuya as well. Right? So that is the 4 Pandavas. Younger Pandavas have done their duty. They're extremely well. They've come back, and now it's time for getting everything ready for the Rajasuya.
Cool.
Yeah. So now it's this. Now it's everything's in order. They've gotten all their tribute. They've gotten all the lands. They've done all their vanquishing. It is now time to commit fully to this Rajasuya ceremony. So it's a sacrificial ceremony as well. This is going to be a fire going, yagna going for the whole thing.
Sure.
So Yudhishthira so the big people involved in this, in doing the actual ceremony, I believe is going to be Vyasa and Krishna.
Okay.
But everyone kind of has their role. Sahadeva's role in this is to kind of do a lot of the organizing. I think there's a lot of rice involved, which might be, I don't know if that's getting burned, but it's also being served as well.
Cooked. Okay.
Yeah. But his whole deal is to do that. Is to get everything ready, all the supplies, to do a lot of that organizing. So not doing the actual ceremony, but getting all the organizing going.
That's the part I want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's doing that again?
Sahadeva.
Sahadeva's doing that.
Yeah.
Great.
So the one who spoke to Ghatotkacha.
Yes.
The other younger brother, Nakula, his job is to go back to Hastinapur.
Okay.
So Hastinapur being the nation that is currently run by their Pandavas' rivals, the Kauravas, which they were supposed to inherit, but then due to political stuff and a lot of shit happening, is, like, we should look back and see what happened then, because what happened was Yudhishthira was meant to rule Hastinapur initially.
Yes.
Then all these schemes and things happened, which are several episodes, listeners. But they ended up being given Indraprastha. And Indraprastha, well, this was a way to make sure the cousins stopped fighting. Like, okay, let's just say the Kauravas will keep Hastinapur.
Yeah.
You guys go off to this
We're
new
gonna
nation.
draw a line. You get half. You get half. Stop your fucking fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the half that the Pandavas got was shit.
Right. Of course.
It was either all desert land, or it was just jungle land that was unruly.
Yep.
Or I think another fair perspective is that, or it was just corrupt and run by criminals and like
Yeah.
horrible.
I
right?
mean, that's what happens. That's what happens if you're not on the rich side of things. You get the unfarmable land. You get the rocky, pit-filled land that you can't do anything with. You can't make any money off of.
And Duryhodana, oldest of the Kauravas, he didn't even want to give them that, but he took some solace in that. Yeah, they've got some shit land. They're out of our hair now.
Yeah.
We have the better, how far can they go?
Right.
But the Pandavas managed to make that place heaven on earth.
Thrive.
A lot of people came from Hastinapur because they loved the Pandavas so much. Other people came from all over the land, so all over Bharatavarsha.
Yep.
And they built this place up. And then from that, good things started to happen. And that's what's led to them now being this point where, like, we're doing so well, we're going to do this Rajasuya to do the emperor ceremony. So, Nakula's got the job of going back to Hastinapur. And also, of course, all the elders or all the, like, previous generations of their family are still in Hastinapur.
Sure.
Right? So, Bhishma, who we mentioned, but then all the people who trained them, all over are still there.
Yeah.
So, he goes there to invite them, but not just to invite them, to involve them in the process. So, really kind of saying, like, we're all still one family.
Yeah.
Not mentioning all the attempts at killing each other that have happened in the past.
With family, you don't need to talk about that.
You don't need to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to talk about politics.
That's what happened in the past. You're still related. You're still cousins. You're still family. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're just going to get together for a little reunion. It'll be okay. Here's your job.
Yeah. So we invite you to come be part of the Rajasuya. We especially the elders, we would like you there. But even Duryhodana and, the ones who most resent them.
Yeah.
Even saying to them as well, like, come be part of this, be part of the family and hosting.
Yeah.
This great thing.
Yep.
So.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so they do come.
Cool.
And on the day of the Rajasuya, everybody's fucking there. So apparently all of their own people are there, and especially the people who came with them. Like, Yudhishthira is very clear that this is their victory as much as his. He gives them, like, things to do, but then also, puts them in positions of power as well. Of course, all these kings are now coming who pay tribute are going to be there. But even many devas come as well. So even some of the gods and goddesses also come to this thing. And so big, giant, mighty sacrificial fire is happening for this whole thing. And one of the things that happens is Duryodhana is the oldest of the Kauravas. Dussasana is the second oldest. Like, Dussasana is given the duty of serving food.
Okay.
And again, everyone has their roles. Duryodhana is given the job of receiving the gifts and tributes from all the people coming.
Why? Why is that
random?
His job. They just drew jobs out of the bowl, or what? Like, they put it all on a piece of paper.
By some accounts,
tossed it around, and everybody grabbed it a roll.
By some accounts, random. By some accounts, people asked, made that happen.
Okay.
Like I've read one account where it's Krishna who did that.
Uh-huh.
And that's when you follow this through line that Krishna's kind of sees the future and almost wants that future from happening. I mean, maybe it could have been the Pandavas too. Like, let him see all the gifts that we have coming in.
Sure.
You know, someone down the line, like, this is a big, big, big ceremony.
Yeah, of course.
So, someone wasn't thinking or keeping track, or someone was able to finagle something so it was. But as from your reaction, as you know,
I'm suspicious.
it pisses him off so much.
Of course.
Because he sees all nations that they know that they have all kinds of relationships with, good and bad, bringing all of these amazing gifts.
Yep.
And they themselves brought decent gifts.
Sure.
But nothing.
Another crystal platter.
Uh-huh.
God damn it.
Yeah.
More. Never mind. Another salt and pepper shaker. Oh my god.
Yeah. They just bought the salt and pepper shaker stuff.
So many salt and pepper shakers.
And like the iron and the toaster. Like all the normal things. While everyone else is bringing super fancy stuff.
Another bunt pan. Oh no. How many bunt pans does one household need?
Yeah, indeed.
One nation need.
So Duryodhana is seeing all of this. And there was hope in their mind that Dhritarashtra apparently by some accounts didn't come. So Duryodhana's father didn't come. As we've talked about, Dhritarashtra is blind, and so he made the excuse that if he comes and he won't be able to see anything that is happening.
Sure.
But also, of course, he's always been for his son, though he's been able to hide it decently well.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely like, that may be what you said, but you just don't want to see. You just don't want to see all of this happening for your son's rivals.
Yeah.
And now
he just couldn't handle it, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, he's pretty old by now, isn't he? He's not too old.
I guess he is, but there's still
That's not
Bhishma
a good
there.
excuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Age for these guys doesn't seem to be
It's
a
not
factor.
a problem. Okay.
I mean, because we're still looking at Salva, who was like 2 generations back.
That's true.
2 generations back, and they're still kind of doing okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out the ages of they just live long lives.
Fair.
Long, healthy lives. It's all that Ayurveda.
All that Ayurveda.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
And so...
all the kicking and squatting and exercise and walking and...
Yeah. Well, that's Kalari.
I know.
Okay. That's different from Ayurveda.
Well...
Definitely yoga stuff, though. Yoga for sure.
Disregard. Walking is anything.
You said kicking.
I did say kicking.
Yeah, there's not much kicking in yoga.
There's kicking and fighting.
Yeah, that's true.
They do fight a lot.
They do fight a lot.
They fight a lot.
Yeah, so there's exercise there.
Fighting keeps
Fair enough.
healthy.
Anyway.
Oh, this is stupid.
Moving on.
Why are we fighting? Why are we fighting?
Because we don't have a go-between.
There's no
anymore.
moderator.
Where was I?
Healthy old men.
The old man. Yeah, no, everyone's coming for this. So that this is Duryodhana. He's seeing all this stuff going on.
I think he's just turning redder and redder the more he sees, more gifts he sees.
Yeah.
You think he's just throwing them in a giant pile and hoping they all break? Are they all wrapped in gift wrap and
he is
just tossing it in a big pile?
I mean, he knows he's going to be watched with this job. So there's
Just
definitely
like,
the
this,
will.
Toss, smash.
There's definitely the will to do all of that. But instead, all of that is just becoming more and more painful for him.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
And so...
Poor guy.
Yeah. They do this whole thing. Well, yeah, let me mention this now as well. I may mention it in the next episode. Mm-hmm. But there's something that happens where he comes and he sees, remember the palace?
Yeah.
Right? And that was this was the palace built by the architect of the Asuras or other types of demons, in line with like the architect of the gods as well. Mm-hmm. A powerful palace that just had finest palace on earth, mirrors everywhere. The floor even looks like
it had the
crystal.
the pool that looked like this, that reflected the ceiling.
Yeah, the pool that like reflects the ceiling, and
gorgeous.
Duryodhana steps into it, not realizing it's water.
At this party?
At this party.
Oh, buddy, and his foot's all wet.
And he just, I don't know if he falls, but he
Is it
gets all
deep?
wet.
Is it
And
deeper than you think it is?
I would say he gets like really wet.
Oh, buddy.
In that, in some accounts, he needs to now change his clothes, so they give him new clothes.
Oh, buddy.
When he does that, a woman laughs.
Oh, no.
A lot.
Oh,
and this is where I've seen different accounts. Let's go with the one that's actually vindictive, where it's Draupadi. And Draupadi sees him, and this tension is still there between the family. Draupadi, for new listeners, being the wife of the Pandavas. All five of the Pandavas are married to Draupadi.
I don't want her to do it, though.
Well, we can go with the other version.
That she does it.
We can go with the version where she's laughing at something else. But I think
it's Draupadi that's laughing.
In most accounts I've read, it's...
Okay.
No, I think she's laughing we are going to go with the fact that she laughs at this act. Of like him.
Oh, no.
And he takes such... I mean, he's already pissed.
He's already wet.
He's already feeling embarrassed, and everything he wanted for the Pandavas is that he wanted for himself.
Yep.
Like, he's in a bad way emotionally, internally, hiding it as well, which is exhausting too. And then this happens.
Everything's clenched, everything's wet.
And she laughs.
Oh my God.
And again, like, how much she laughs, but she truly laughs about, and he feels all of the pain. He feels like she's laughing at everything. Like, check it out. You tried this. You tried to kill my husbands. Didn't work. Now they have this great palace. Now he's going to become the emperor of all instead of just Hastinapur.
Oh my God. The world is closing down on him. Look at me. Look at this failure. Look at how terrible. Look at how worthless beast I am. I'm wet.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I haven't won anything.
He is one.
I've got nothing going for me.
A thing.
Everyone hates me.
Yeah.
So yeah. He's just shrinking.
He is a loser.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why are you making me feel so bad for him?
It'll get turned around in future episodes. Don't worry about it.
Oh, but I feel it.
But he feels...
I feel really bad for him right now. But also, like, this is how you create a supervillain.
Yeah.
This is how a supervillain is born.
Depending on versions and stuff like that. But it's a woman laughing at him.
Oh, yeah.
It's a woman laughing at him. That's just the worst.
It's awful.
So that is something that happens very significantly in the entire Mahabharata epic. And so they get him new clothes, but that can be even more embarrassing in some sense,
And they're women's clothes. But they don't tell him.
They are probably the finest clothes he may have worn.
Oh,
which of
God,
course...
that's worse.
Exactly, right?
Oh,
exactly.
Just give me some rags. Can I go home yet? I bet
Yeah, he can't go home yet.
He's in the changing room. He's drying off, and he's just like, "Can I just go home?"
He still has to receive everyone's gifts.
Oh my God!
So he still has a job to do.
He did not choose this job. No, I've completely turned around. He did not choose this job. They made him do it to spite him, to make him look a fool.
And he definitely feels that way.
And then he made himself look like a fool by stepping in a pond.
Yeah.
The Pandava's pond.
The Pandava's pond.
The Pandava's pond. Oh my God, buddy. I don't want to feel bad for him, but I really, really do.
Yeah. That's fair.
And I'm mad at Draupadi for being like that.
That doesn't...
I feel like she's classier than that. But a lot happened and he's a dick.
Yeah. I want to get back to this in the next episode to really explore different versions of...
That's putting a lot on her. I feel
of this.
I'm just thinking about that now. Me feeling this way about how Draupadi responded.
She's human too.
Like, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much. She is a human being.
And I'm trying to think, what did she do?
And that's just saying, it's just putting forth that whole thing that a woman has to be better at everything. So I renege.
Sure. Yeah. And
sorry,
in a
Draupadi.
Sense,
laugh at whatever you want to.
Because she wasn't there for, like, the great crimes, where, like, the actual attempts at killing the Pandavas.
Yeah.
I don't think she was there for those.
Okay.
Yeah. She kind of came into their lives after, almost as a result of them like being on the run and things.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
So, yeah, but of course knows all the stories and tales like that.
Well, yeah.
So, but
I mean, her husband's told her everything,
yeah.
I'm sure.
But I think the fact that, but even that, right? If they've done nothing to her specifically, and at some point tried to win her as their wife.
Yeah.
At some point, and then if she laughed that much,
I mean, it was
where for
probably
them
funny.
there's no context. Yeah, probably just funny.
It was probably
right?
just
That's
funny.
another thing. It may have just been funny.
Yeah.
So.
Probably made a silly face when he fell in the water.
Uh-huh. Like
Maybe he farted. You never know.
Surprised.
Do you think he farted? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I don't know what he was eating at that time.
Oh no! What if he farted?
Anyone would laugh then.
Everyone would laugh. Mm-hmm. Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Then it's so sad.
Mm-hmm. So the Rajasuya is all done. There's just this one thing that has to happen where they have to choose a guest of honor, and that'll be the event that kind of solidifies the entire Rajasuya. And so, but because who is chosen leads to one thing, leads to another, and ties to other stories, I say we save that for next time.
Oh, man. But I want to know. Okay, so this guest of honor, I have a bad feeling about this guest of honor, and I don't know why.
Okay.
And I'm excited to hear who it is.
Okay.
Should I be worried? You're not going to tell me. He's not going to tell me. His face says, I'm not going to tell you shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know exactly what the worry is, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I be suspicious?
You won't be surprised about the guest of honor.
Okay.
It's what follows that's super fucking cool.
Oh my
and also...
god.
Yeah.
Okay. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, there you have it. We did an entire episode.
We did it. We didn't need anybody else. We have us and our cats.
Uh-huh.
I mean, next time we'll have somebody else. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But, this was nice. It was nice to try. Nice to do.
Yeah.
We did just fine. Look at
us. Let us know, listeners, what you think.
Hopefully you thought it was fun too.
What's your impression of the episode?
I mean, I thought it was really fun. I love a little journey. I love them going, north, south, east, and west. It's a very cool visual of them just like trotting off and taking care of business and doing their thing. And I am excited for, in a couple of years when we get to the Ramayana and I can learn about that fucking awesome bridge.
Yeah.
Which
again will be like so much further in the story, so it'll be like 75%. Well, I don't know.
So it'll be like 6 years from now?
I've been so focused on the Mahabharata that I haven't looked too much into the Ramayana.
Yeah.
It's, 12 episodes in. I was like, oh, it made sense to do the Ramayana first. But I'm dedicated to this now.
And I have to live with the fact that I feel bad for Duryhodana right now.
Yeah.
And I have to until the next episode, which I hope will rectify that feeling.
If not within the next couple,
okay,
there will be some.
So I have
from my looking a little bit ahead.
Okay,
and not knowing how fast our pacing goes, right?
It's gonna keep my feelings to myself then.
That might be.
Buddy.
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, I thought it was a great story. Thank you for sharing it.
Always a pleasure. So yeah, that's where we'll leave you, listeners. Again, we were very fortunate to get a sponsor this time. Magic Mind. It is a product that we do endorse because we've been using it and feel really good and calm and creative and all the things we want in our lives. And so I'm hoping this is something that appeals to you guys, and you can use if you go to magicmind.com/notyourgm, GM stands for gummies, so magicmind.com/notyourgm, or when you order things there, you can use the code NYM to get your gummies, and there you have it.
Yeah, great.
All right. Have an imaginative day, listeners. Thank you for listening to this episode of Not Your Mother's Mahabharata. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss our next episode. My name is Satish Jayaraj, and I am your storyteller and researcher. My wife and co-host is Azure Anderson. Azure also wrote the theme music, she did all the editing and producing, and essentially did all the work to get this podcast to you. Without her, it would just be me swearing ancient stories to friends in our living room. Join us next time for the next installment of Not Your Mother's Mahabharata.
If you want to support the podcast and hear additional content, you can do so by becoming a member of the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/NYMM podcast. We would like to thank our current patrons, Dinosaur Sauce, Errol the Hamster, and Praveen Prem Kumar for their support. Thank you. Have an imaginative day.